Five Eyes here. Sorry I've not done a video in a while, but I've been busy and I'm a bit lazy. So, but I've been asked by a few people to do one on refining. So it's now the super refining event finally. So I'm going to make a start on it now. I've been saving some refined stones, so I've got about 100,000, which if I'm lucky might get me a couple of pieces of gear refined to a reasonable standard, but we'll see. And what I'm going to be refining today is the wall general. So I've got, on my other generals, I've got some bits and pieces that I need to do a little bit better, but these, I've got the Antonine leg armor and helmet, which have got no refines at all. So I need to get those done. They're sort of the most important ones for me to do. So I'm going to start with those. First though, it's probably worth looking at, I suppose, what I need. Because whenever you start refining, it's important to, because refined stones are quite precious, you don't get them, it takes a lot of them to get just one piece of gear done well. So don't waste them, and always know what you're aiming for in terms of the refines that you want to get. And I think for my wall general, you can see I've gone with Leonidas, so he is more ground sort of focused, and I use him with Leo as a pairing, who's more siege focused. So generally my range buffs are kind of okay, so I'm really looking at focusing on ground and siege, and there's a reason for that. But just so you can see what I've done so far, these were done quite a while ago, and they're not actually that great for what I want. I'll be changing the bow at some point to the axe when I get more siege troops, but at the moment I haven't got that many, so it doesn't make sense to change them when I'd say probably half my troops are probably ranged. So I'll stick with the bow for the moment because yeah, for that reason, but I will move to the axe at some point. The chest piece I've got is sort of ground based anyway, so that's fine. The refines aren't really, to be honest, what I want, but I think I got a really good siege and range defense. Well, yeah, two really good range ones and one really good siege, because the maximum's 25%, and I got 24 for all three of those. But really I was looking for ground. On the Choreo boots though, I did get all ground, and it cost quite a lot of refined stones to get that, but it was worth it, I think, for the fact that it's all ground and the refines are pretty good, I think. And I made a complete mess with the Choreo braces, because they are actually good refines for or flat refines, but to be honest, I shouldn't have done that, and I made a mistake, so I'm going to need to change that at some point, but it's okay for now. So what you need to work out, it's fairly easy for your range general or your ground general. You know what you want. You just want all ranged or all ground, depending on what the general is for. So with the wall general, it's a bit different, because it makes it a little bit easier, because you might, when you're refining, you've usually got, well, you've got the 4 troop types that may come up as an option when you roll to see what you get. And so you may have more options if you're happy to have either, you might be happy to have range, siege, or ground as one of your refines, but so therefore you may only have, you've got 3 options every time you spin that may be okay for you for what you want. But I'm going to give you an example as when I look at some of my recent defenses, so to see what I think is the most useful and the reason why. So this was actually one I was re-inned on. You can see it's quite a big player who hit me and didn't do very well. But he hit me with ranged, and if you look at his, so there you go, you can see he hit me with a ranged attack. And the troops that did well, even though it's ranged, it will still be your ground troops that will be doing the damage. And also they're the ones that got hit as well. So my ranged troops, actually, if you look at it, hardly did anything. Hardly killed anything, didn't get any wounded. So there's not really a need for me to do too much, because most people will hit you with ranged. You'll notice I don't really have much, any mounted, because this was a sort of planned trap, and therefore I ghosted all my mounted. But I don't have a lot mounted anyway. And the plan is always I'm not going to be huge and 10 billion or anything. So I'm not going to be able to, or rather, I don't need to worry about mounted buffs, because I'm not planning to let my mounted troops get hit. So I'll always try and ghost them, and therefore, hopefully, it shouldn't be an issue. But that's one example. So you can see ground took most of the damage and also did most of the damage. So they were pretty important. If you look at another one, this was, I wasn't really in on this, but again, another really big player, and he struggled against me. So again, he hit with ranged troops, and I think all my damage was with ground again. So you can see all the ground troops did virtually all of the killing. Ranged again did virtually nothing, and again it was the ground that took the damage. So for most people, they're going to attack you with either ranged or ground usually, and if they do that, it's always going to be the ground troops that are going to get hit first, because they're the first ones on the battlefield. And also ground does very well against ranged, and so the importance for me is to keep their buffs up and have a really high sort of ground defense and ground stats for defending. The final one that is useful to consider is this one. So this guy again didn't do very well against me, but he was attacking me with siege. So nobody's really done that with me before. That was just the last SVS, and he didn't do well. But that was partly because I didn't have much siege in my city at the time. I've put on about another 100 million in troops in the sort of last week since this battle occurred. So I do have about 400,000 T13 siege now, and 200,000 T14 siege as well. So it would have done more damage now than it probably did during SVS last weekend. But again, if you look at it, it's the it's the ground that have done all the damage. Okay, it was the siege that took the damage. So the way I'm thinking is that I need to have good ground stats, and I need probably to have decent siege stats as well, because range don't really seem to take too much damage unless they've already got through your ground. Obviously they will do some, and there are reports I've got where they do quite a bit of damage as well, but they don't usually take too much damage. So attack is quite important for them, range troop attack, but in terms of the HP, it's not really that of much benefit. If I was a much bigger player and I wasn't ghosting my cavs, then HP for mounted would be very important. But because of the way I play, I think ground and siege HP is more important, and those are the refines that I'm trying to work on today, because these two pieces of gear are both going to give me HP stats. So I'll get sort of started. So because these are civilization equipment, the refine the maximum I can get is up to 30%. So what I'm going to be looking to do is to get the first one up to the high 20s, which will probably take a while, and then maybe another one over 25, and then I'll just see how I'm going. But I'd like to get both done to an okay standard, so we'll see how we sort of get on. So I'm going to aim to wrap this one up with about 50,000 refined stones left. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes. It may go really well, it may go horribly, but yeah. I would put this advanced filter on, but I'm not going to, because I'm happy with either Siege Machine HP or Ground Troop HP. If I was just doing my Ground General, then yeah, I'd probably tick that, and then it filters it, and it means that it'll warn me before I miss a good stat. So hopefully I won't miss anything. I might just hit the gold attribute just in case. But yeah, so that's what I'm aiming to do. So if I get, I don't know, 2 ground and 2 siege, then that's great. If it's 3 and 1 of the other, then that's okay. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So let's make a start with this. So got 2 ground troop HP stats there. They're both flat refines, which I'm not looking for. So regardless if I get gold HP stats, I'm not going to go for that. I'm not going to be a T1 trap where flat refines might be useful. So I'm just going to look for percentages. But this is going to take a while, so let's just keep going through until we start seeing some. Gradually the percentages should start to increase as we go further through, and you can see that it takes I can't remember now, 200 refined stones each time. Let's have a look. Or is it 300? Yeah, 300. So it'll get through these pretty quick. But once we get to a gold one, then hopefully we'll get a decent. So we got one there, 21.5%. So that's okay. If I had Ake gear, then you might consider that, and it all depends on how many refined stones you've got and what you're happy with, as to whether you sort of settle for something. But yeah, I'm just working on the basis that I'm going to keep this for a long time, and therefore I may as well do it to as good a standard as I can, sort of first time. So first gold one, but that's subordinate C training speeds. That's of no use whatsoever. Okay, that's going to get annoying. So yeah, we'll keep going. Siege Machine HP, 24.9%, that's pretty good. But I have said I'm going to keep going until I've got sort of 28%, hopefully in one of them. And then we'll see where we go from there. It will, oh, there you go. Another ground one, 24.9 as well. So 2 reasonably good ones, but yeah, we'll keep going. Unless I get to like 40,000 refined stones down. So that's another gold one, range troop HP, but I don't need that. Ground again, 23. I know when I'm doing a video for this for the first time, it's all going to go wrong. I'm going to get basically nothing. Okay, Siege, 26, that's kind of good. The reason I would always say do your first one, or I'm not saying I would say that, but from videos I've watched of experienced players, they've always waited for a very high one on the first one, because the first one is usually the easiest to get. After that, it is tougher to get, and usually the last one, the last of the 4 refines is really tough to get. Quite a few of my other pieces of gear, you've got 3 good, or 3 ones you're happy with, and then there's just one that's really tricky and costs a lot to try and get up to. So let's see if I can get something soon, hopefully. Just need to get lucky. Again. Not looking great. Mounted. So that's really good mounted one, 28.5. Actually, not a bad siege one as well. But that's not going to be of any use for me because I'm not planning on having any mounted available for people to hit. But 24 ground. Ore gathering, that's no good. Wow, this isn't going well. Range troop, don't need that. Range troop again, that was really good refine, 28.3. Even better, 29.5. Oh, that's so annoying. I'm tempted to... No, I'm not going to keep it, even though it is really good. Or shall I? Keep it for now, but I don't think I'm going to keep that. Stick to my principles. My God, this is not going well. So we're already nearly 30,000 refined stones used and not got what I want. More range troop, great stats, buffs. Food gathering, lumber, no. Wow, not even got one at the moment. Siege machine is good flat buff, but that's not what I want. Really lucky if I get one piece of gear done at this rate. Now I'm wishing I just kept with the 26% when I had it about 30,000 refined stones ago. Mounted troop, very good, but not what I need. Another siege that's good, but it's flat. Oh, right, okay, 25.9 for siege. Well, since this is going pretty horribly, I think I'm going to keep that. Which is annoying because it's like 1% more than I had about 30,000 refined stones ago. Because otherwise I'm not going to have enough. So I'm going to keep it. So you'll see when you want to keep a refine, you click on the padlock. And you also notice at the bottom that the refine, rather than saying no cost in terms of gems, suddenly it's 4k of cost in terms of gems. So your gems go down very, very quickly when you're refining, because every time you hit this, it's going to go down by 4k. So you lose hundreds of thousands of gems just by doing one gear refine. So yeah, try. That's why it's important not to mess it up, like I'm doing right now. But anyway, at least I haven't cost myself any gems to do that. All right, let's see if I'm luckier with the second refine. Mounted. Really want some good ground ones, but it's not going to be my day. No gold ones at all at the moment, so finally, but that's lumber gathering. No luck whatsoever. Good siege flats, but that's no use. Food gathering. Wow, we're already at 50,000 refined stones, so I've used half of them already. And I've got one refine that I'm not really that happy with. This is great. Oh, come on. Oh, another flat. This is terrible. No, I'm not happy with that. I want at least one that's about 27, 28. Lumber gathering speed. More range troop gold. Come on. No luck today at all. Mounted troop. Well, here I was thinking it was going to be easier. More mounted troop, gold. Considering I've got two choices of what I actually need in siege or ground. But that hasn't happened at all. Wow, so I've got 3 golds, but none of, well, the other 2 are not of any use. I don't think I've had any decent ground ones since the very start. Ah, there we go. Great, okay, definitely keeping that one. So 29.1, so we finally got a decent buff. So locking that one in for definite. And now the refine cost is 6k. So it gets more expensive the more of these padlocks you put on. So if I also keep that one, it gets to 8k. So yeah, only keep the ones you need. So let's keep going. Maybe I can, oh, nearly. Maybe I can get lucky. I'm going to be happier to settle now for something a bit lower, maybe 23, 24, if I can get it. Oh, like that one, but it's mounted. It's ranged. And maybe I'll have a few refined stones left to try and make a start on the other one. But yeah, not looking great so far. So I want something that's at least orange for siege or ground as a percentage. Another gold mounted. Doing fine if I needed mounted ones. So that's okay. Ground troop 24.4. I'll take that. And let's hope we can just get lucky with the last one. So close. Range troop HP 26.1. You know what? I'm going to take that because... Yeah, I'm going to take that because I've only got 25,000 refined stones left. And ranged isn't the end of the world, so I will take it. So I think that's pretty decent, a pretty decent refine, even though it's not what I wanted. But the last 3 came fairly quickly. That first one was an absolute nightmare. So that looks pretty good, I think. So I'll stick with that for now. Yeah, it's not bad. So that gives me not very much at all to try and refine this. Usually I'd probably wait until I've got enough to do it whole, but let's go for it anyway and hope I get incredibly lucky. Even if I just get a 1, I'll be fairly happy with that. So I'm still going with the same refined sarge, that's not bad to get quite quickly, that 22. 22.4 ground. but I still want a gold one to start us off. Let's just hope I get much more lucky than the last one. Well, that's the first gold, so let's hope there's some more coming. Lumber gathering. So we're down to the last 15,000 refined stones. Oh wow, look at that. That will do nicely. 30%, it doesn't get better than that, so that's great. All right, well that's a good start. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't actually gonna do something. Wow, this is much better. Okay, siege machine 29.3. Awesome. Okay, so 2 more left, but I don't think it got much better than that in the first few rolls, so I'm pretty happy with that. Well, very happy with that. So let's see if I can get the other 2 done in... do I keep 23? Let's keep it, because I've only got 12,000 left. And to be honest, with 30% as well, that's pretty good. Oh, close. So if we can get another either really high buff of ranged, or let's say a 23 or above for ground or siege, then that's going to be about perfect. Are we going to run out of refined stones first though? It does happen a lot where you just run out before you've quite finished what you wanted, or got what you wanted. So we're on about the last 10. Come on, give us something. Probably not going to happen, but to be honest, considering I only have 25,000, so this is the last one. I've at least got the range troop 22.7%, so it's not the end of the world, but let's see. Gold ground troop, please. No. Okay, so, well, actually, you know what, that's fine for now. I can always change that at a later date, but that's pretty good considering where we were after the first one. So yeah, so this one was a nightmare, but actually it's okay. It's pretty good. And this one, we got some really great refines. 30% I've never had, so or I've never maxed on any of them actually, so that's really, really good. And I'll take the fact that there's a ranged one in each. It's not the end of the world. I've got 2 grounds in both, so that was my sort of main focus, so I think that works pretty well. And hopefully now that will make push my ground HP stats up even more for my defense. And yeah, that's sort of how to do refining anyway. Not that it was a great example, but in the end they're okay. So yeah, it kind of works, I think. So just be aware that usually that's that last one, the last refine, that's the tricky one, and you can use most of your refined stones out of the ones you'd allocated for it on that. But yeah, it didn't actually work on this one. It was the first one, weirdly, that took so long. Maybe because I was being picky, but yeah. In the end, it was all right. So that's pretty much how I refine, and how the reason I sort of refine, I've looked to use or to get those refined to my wall general. And yeah, for the people like Electra, my refines are very good on these, but obviously you just go for the tube type that it is. So all ranged for all of them is the ideal, and that's what you want to be aiming for. Okay, I think that's everything for this video. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments, or if you want me to do any other different videos, and I'll try and do one a bit sooner than I've done this one. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.